So there's probably not much that surprises you anymore, just playing this game. But through the first week of camp, has there been any pleasant surprise or anything that's caught you off guard as you're adapting to your new teammates, adapting to a role and all that stuff?
Nah, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, to get an opportunity to continue to come in here and play year in and year out, it's a blessing. It's an opportunity. I got many of my counterparts who don't play anymore or coach or whatnot, so there's no joy like playing. And so when you get rookies and young guys who coming in their first few days of this, it's cool because it's all perspective, and to talk to them about it has been cool.
When D. West was here, we were talking about leadership one day. I asked him about
guys he's played with that fit that mold, and he mentioned you as one of the guys that he considered someone who was a leadership kind of guy. What does leadership mean to you?
Well, I'm a little biased when it comes to D. West because that's my favorite teammate my whole career. D. West is how I came into this league. We played our first 6 years together, and it just showed me how you can lead in different ways. And I think that's what I appreciated was I'm obviously a little bit more vocal, and I try to, lead by the way that I play, and D. West don't really say much. He just do his thing. But I think we both were necessary for our team at the time. And being here, I got a chance to see Dray, Steph, Klay, obviously up close, and I see all of their different personalities and what's necessary for this team to be the way it is.
Chris, Steph said it's been probably since his freshman year of college that he's played alongside another true facilitating point guard, but it's been a seamless fit so far. You've played next to a lot of really talented guards, but how is playing next to Steph, or at least practicing with him, different so far, and just what's that been like with him?
Man, it's a speed that Steph plays with, and I think his ability to shoot the ball. I mean, I played with a lot of really, really good players, but his ability not just to shoot, but to create off the dribble and to make the pass, and also the other guys around. It's been a lot of fun, and I don't know. You just sort of figure it out as you go.
When Draymond's back and it's you, Steph, and Draymond on the court, what are kind of the keys to kind of divvying up ball handling duties, playmaking, and all that?
It's basketball, man. I know it's easier said than done. We'll continue to have more time, obviously, once Dray gets back. We hoop during the summer. We played pickup and all that. But when you play and you play for a while, then it's and the pace that we're trying to play at, it really don't matter. You know what I mean? I think it just makes you that more dangerous when you have that many ball handlers.
You guys have mentioned the summer a lot. I mean, how truly helpful was as much pickup as you got in with pretty much the whole team?
We're going to see. But it was a good time. It was fun. It was necessary. And so obviously this isn't the summer anymore, but just like anything, it's going to need time for us to get more and more familiar with each other. With Dray being out right now, that might be, some on-the-job training, you know what I mean? But we understand.
You mentioned the other day that you said JK was a hooper. You've seen a lot of guys with gifts coming through this league. What do you think his gifts can translate to as far as a career? I mean, how good can he be?
JK, first of all, he turned 21 today. And he just plays with like a joy. You can tell how much he loves the game. And we just talk and communicate. It's basketball. And I think with our team, we just always talk about appreciating each other. You know what I mean? I'm sure he appreciates playing with all these great players, and they appreciate him. And so hopefully, this year he'll get a chance to, show that. But everybody's needed in order for everything to work.
Is there a certain amount of joy you get from knowing that you can influence young guys?
A joy. Yeah, I don't know. I think I seen something from D Rose recently where he was talking about, his job ain't there to, do this and do that, which young guys are not, it's basketball, and I think with anybody, you just try to build that trust, and as long as they know you coming from a good place and you love the hoop just as much as they do, then they respect it. And that's how I've been not only with JK, with BP, with Mo, with all these guys. We got a great group of guys here that just want to work.
You've talked about how much you've guarded Klay over the years. This is
Nah,
somewhat
it
of
was Steph. I ain't guard Klay too much.
Oh yeah, well he guarded you then.
Yeah.
And this is somewhat of a transitional phase for him. I mean, Steve's come up and talked about he might guard some fours this year. I mean, it's a different league than I'm talking about earlier in his career. But how would you describe maybe the transition he's made? Obviously, he's gone through some tough injuries, but from, mid-20s Klay Thompson to now.
I don't know, because for me, anytime I see Klay, I see a killer. You know what I mean? I don't watch it from you guys' lens or whatnot. I watch it from I've been on the court against him year in and year out. You know what I mean? I knew coming in to play against him, he was going to be guarding me all game. I know what it's like when you leave him open for a split second, so he's still that same Klay. And Klay is probably a lot taller and stronger than people realize, so when somebody hear him guarding a forward, that's fine.
And, especially this camp, people are talking about your competitiveness. Draymond's competitiveness is always discussed. Klay's, it doesn't seem like gets talked about as much, but, I mean, you're somebody who reads competitiveness. I mean, is he right up there in the league?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Klay just don't say a lot of stuff that everybody catch on the cameras. He'll say it to you, though. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Anything you can share from over the years?
Nah, but Klay, Klay is a real competitor because, like I said, all those Clippers years and all that stuff, Klay was guarding me, him or Iggy.
I think he was even talking collective.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not asking if it's the biggest preseason ever, but I mean, it does feel like there's an added level.
Yeah, definitely. This is a big camp for us on a lot of levels. We got off to such a slow start last year, and we're kind of swimming upstream the whole year, the rest of the year. So we want to get off to a good start, and we have a lot of new pieces. We feel like we have to improve in a lot of key areas, and so it's all about building habits. And the only way you can build habits is in training camp. Once the season starts, it's you just don't practice that much. So we're trying to hammer home some of the key areas where we need improvement, and the players are feeling that, and they're doing a good job of executing so far, but we've got a long way to go.
See, through a week, has there been any pleasant surprises over, the past week of camp, or things that you didn't foresee just as you're viewing your personnel and implementing things?
Everybody's in good shape. The spirit and the energy is great. No real surprises because we've been with these guys for a lot of the summer. We had a lot of pickup going on here at Chase the last few weeks, so we've got to know these guys really well. But they're doing a great job, and so far so good. First week of camp is always a little clunky because guys have to get their legs underneath them and putting in new stuff. You're trying to get comfortable with everything, so it takes a little time, but very happy with everybody's progress.
On the significance of this training camp, how much of it is affected by the fact that you had a relatively long off season for what you guys normally have? Does that help you, given that you had a pretty long runway?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why one of the reasons why a lot of guys came in early and played pickup the last couple of weeks. That's why they're in good shape too, because they've, long off season. Guys were anxious to get going, so they got here early and came in good shape, and that's a good starting point.
With the preseason opener tomorrow,
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to play, so we'll play. Every player in uniform will be out on the floor at some point tomorrow. So it's really almost like another practice. That's the way I approach it. We're looking at executing some of the stuff that we've put in. We're looking for habits. Nobody's going to play a ton of minutes, but we're looking to continue to focus on the work we've been putting in.
We know that Draymond can't do a lot with his ankle situation, but what has his general energy been like? Has he been the same Draymond than from years before?
Yeah. Draymond has been his energy is, as you know, it dominates a room. And the first couple of days of scrimmages, he's on the sidelines, talking trash to both teams and pumping guys up, and right in the middle of it all. So he's really excited about the season, and he's progressing well with the injury.
What have you seen from Cory Joseph in camp so far? Obviously, been in the league a while. He's won a championship. There's probably a level of expectations you had coming in with being able to watch him play over the years.
Yeah.
But how has he been all week?
Well, he's not playing right now because of the injury, so it's been more an opportunity to get to know Cory. One of the reasons we targeted him is just because of his veteran experience and leadership. He never turns the ball over. He's a rock solid traditional point guard. When I called Greg Popovich about him this summer when we were thinking about signing him, Pop said he's one of the best human beings I've ever coached, and that's high praise from Pop. And that's what you want. You want to fill your roster with guys who are good leaders, good people, good teammates, solid. And he's a really good player. He's been a very effective player in the league for a long time. So we're lucky to have him. We're lucky to have Dario. Lucky to have Chris. I mean, just these veteran additions are going to give our team, I think, a little different feel.
Speaking of Dario, what do you like about what you've seen, and what do you love about what you've seen?
I love the way he fits in to our team. Big guy who can space the floor. He's very smart as a passer, as a playmaker. And, we had that a couple of years ago with Beli, with Otto Porter. Dario's not the same player as those guys. He's different. He's bigger, more physical, but you get the same dynamic of a big who can shoot and make plays from the perimeter and kind of unlocks a lot of possessions. And so he just knows how to play.
Can you play him at the 5? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Definitely.
If he's out there with Draymond, I mean, who would you consider the 5?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I don't even. Yeah, you just match up accordingly, and you play accordingly. If you want Draymond in the pick and roll, you space Dario. Great. He spaces the floor and knocks down threes, but he's also capable of playing out of the pocket too in pick and roll.
I guess that question might be more defensively. Like, let's say you're playing the Nuggets and they're both out there. Maybe it's foul trouble based, but I mean, I guess the question would be, would you feel comfortable with both of them guarding Jokic?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, beauty of Draymond is his defensive versatility. He can be the 5 or he can play 4 and with a 5 and even take on the 5's matchup at the other end. And, the game just gets a lot easier when you have that versatility that they will give to each other, right? Because you get Dario's playmaking and shooting helps Draymond on offense. Draymond's versatility on defense means we can move the pieces around matchup-wise.
Steve, how often, if at all, have you looked back on last postseason, and what have you been able to pull from that and say, okay, and I guess better know about yourself, your staff, your team in those series against the Kings and the Lakers?
Yeah, good, a lot of good, and against Sacramento, coming back, showing the resilience to come back after being down 2-0, win a Game 7 on the road, showing our fortitude. And then the Lakers exposed us. We were not a very well-rounded team last year, and so thinking about that series, watching it, they bottled us up defensively, and we didn't have a counter. So we've got to make sure we have counters this year.
Up with the first preseason game tomorrow, just how do you think that this week has gone for you personally? And Steve says any guy suited up tomorrow is going to play. So what are your goals for, even with it being a preseason game, your first time out?
To answer your first question, I think it's been very well for myself. Like I said, when I got drafted here, I think the way I play fits them and the way they play fits me. So knowing the terminology and the way they like to play was a simple fit for me, and it wasn't much of a learning curve, I would say. And then in terms of playing tomorrow, just putting your best foot forward. So obviously a lot of our rookie debuts tomorrow and our home debuts. So obviously you want to come out with a win, but you also want to play well yourself.
The buzzword from this last week has just been connectivity. Obviously, the guys who were here last year say that was something they were clearly lacking. You have a different perspective because you are brand new, not just to this team, but the league. But how has the connectivity been building both on and off the court?
Yeah, I think our veterans have done a great job over the course of the summer, since Summer League, of just getting the guys together. We took a trip to LA together. We took a trip to Vegas together. And just getting to know each and every person off the court, what they're like, being around each other. I think that's a big thing when it comes to team bonding and, sharing that experience together. And our veterans, CP, Steph, they've done a great job of setting that stuff up. And I think through that process, we've built together, and I think it'll translate to on the court success.
I know you've said since the beginning that you feel like your game really complements the Warriors' style, but what's been the learning curve like for you, and has anything maybe surprised you so far?
Honestly, no. I don't think there's been much of a learning curve. I think, it's just applying what the coaches are telling you, putting your best foot forward, and, trying to help some of the other guys that may be a little bit behind you. But like I said, I just, try to do my best out there and let everything else that I can't control, leave it out there.
Any nerves for tomorrow?
Any nerves for tomorrow? I think so. I think, if you love the game of basketball, you always get a little bit, nervous and tingly before you get to play out there, especially for me, being my first time playing Chase Center against another prestigious franchise in the Lakers. I think it'll be a cool experience, though.
And having gone to Santa Clara, is there going to be decent crowd for you?
Yeah, there'll be some Santa Clara people here. My family just flew in today, so they'll be here. But yeah, I'm just excited to get out there and play.